I mean, after the week Arsenal have had, what's the overriding emotion? Is this the perfect game or the worst possible game to come after that week?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, with me, with my Arsenal fan hat on, it's the worst possible game because the thought of losing to Tottenham just any time fills me with dread. But going into the game on the back of when you sort of sense a mood around the place and you kind of envision what the reaction will be like if they lose to Spurs, you know, it's just it doesn't bear thinking about. But in a way, if there's any game to sort of get your sort of laser focus on, it's the North London derby at home. You can't afford to feel sorry for yourself going into this game because the fans just won't let you. The atmosphere won't let you. You've got to get straight back on it. And, you know, as we said, yes, it's been a bruising few days for Arsenal, but there's no better way to come out of that by beating Spurs at home and giving yourself a real good shot in the arm ahead of another really difficult game against Villa on the weekend, a team who won at the Emirates last season, you know, so painfully, ultimately, as well. So yeah, it's a massive game for Arsenal, and they usually turn up for the North London derbies. Again, fans don't really allow you not to, and so yeah, from a fan point of view, I'm kind of dreading it, but from a player point of view, I'm sure they're desperate to get out there and really feel that atmosphere and try and get themselves back on track.
Yeah, it feels like it's always a big game, but feels like a very big game in the context of now and the context of Arsenal season. I mean, is it Arsenal's biggest, most important game of the season at this stage because of what's just happened?
It has to be, yeah, absolutely, it has to be. It's always the biggest game anyway, really. But as you said and rightly pointed out, you know, the context of what's happened in the last week, you know, another defeat here to make it 3 defeats at home in 3 different competitions, you know, it would leave them such a mountain to climb in the Premier League as well. That it has to be the Arsenal's biggest game of the season. You know, a win is absolutely essential for so many reasons. So yeah, 100%, it's the biggest game of the season.
I mean, and when you throw in that Liverpool and Forest are playing each other on Tuesday night as well, the other members of the top 3 there, that's, you know, wins. One of them's got to drop points, so a win, even against ignoring the opposition, becomes even more crucial there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting watching that game a bit later on. I don't think anyone at the start of the season would have predicted Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest was going to be a top of the table clash come January, but that's how it's panned out. And, you know, like you said, someone's going to drop points in that game. Maybe both teams end up dropping points in that game. And if they do, then it just adds even more importance to what Arsenal are going to do. Maybe it puts more pressure on them as well. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, a huge sort of 48 hours coming up in the Premier League.
And in terms of team news, London derby, what are we expecting? I suppose the forward line almost picks itself now because there's no one else to pick.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's gonna really have to be Trossard, Havertz, and Martinelli. You know, Havertz has had a really difficult week with the misses, with the horrendous abuses him and his family have suffered since the Manchester United game as well. Mikel Arteta, I thought, spoke really strongly and importantly on that subject at his press conference today. He was absolutely bang on. But you can't take him out the firing line because he needs him right now. So it's been a really difficult time for Havertz, but he's going to have to sort of try and get his head together as best as he possibly can and go out there and perform. And again, what a way to sort of silence your critics by going out there and scoring potentially a winning goal in a North London derby. So yeah, team news wise, we'll wait and see on Calafiori. He missed the game midweek. He'll have a late test. Mikel sounded fairly optimistic that maybe he might have a chance of making it for this game. I still think it's going to come too early for Ben White or Tomiyasu. Obviously, there's no Gabriel Jesus, and you know, the players like Nwaneri and Saka aren't going to make it either. So yeah, injury issues once again for Arsenal. Hopefully Calafiori will be back. It sounded like Timber and Jorginho should be fine, and that's a boost, especially Timber, because when he went off against United sort of holding his hamstring, I think everyone feared the worst, but it sounds like anyway it was just cramp, and that's really, really important because that would have been a hammer blow if Timber had picked something up as well.
Yeah, I mean, I asked the question earlier if it's perfect or worst possible game, but for Havertz, it's got the potential to be a really good, important game because there will be chances. Tottenham will give up shots at goal, and if he can get a goal, maybe 2, if it's the winner, obviously a dream. And you also feel, because of the horrendous abuse that was suffered, you know, that's universally hated by football fans, the Emirates will be fully behind him. You know, they might be frustrated at his recent performances, but they will be fully behind him because of what's happened this week. So that should give him an extra boost as well, shouldn't it?
Yeah. I think the support are really going to sort of jump behind Havertz tomorrow. I think Arteta's comments were probably aimed at that as well. He knows the importance of the stadium getting behind him. He was right. It was just a couple of weeks ago when he scored the winner against Ipswich, and the whole stadium was just singing his name as always. And he's been a hugely important part of this of Arsenal in the last year. He had a difficult start. We all know that. It was very well documented. But then he was hugely influential from the turn of the year onwards. And is still Arsenal's top goal scorer this season. He's had a bad week, really bad week, when he's missed some crucial chances. But that does not warrant what he has had to endure since that Man United game. No one would have left that pitch feeling worse than Kai Havertz of what happened and the chances missed, the penalty miss. But that just does not condone what he's had to go through. And I really, really hope, as you said, and I think it will, the supporters will all get behind him on Wednesday night. And if he can get himself a goal, it would just be so important for him, for the team as well. And I really, really hope it happens.